Okay. It's really good to be together tonight, so let's sing about it and get started.
הנה מה טוב ומנעים ותחיים יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים ותחיים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבטחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבטחים גם יחד. How good it is,
How good it is,
how sweet it is,
how sweet it is
to be together on the day. How good it
how
is,
good it is,
how sweet it
how
is
sweet it is
to be together on this day. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבט גד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבטחים גם יחד. שלום עליכם, סלם עליכם, שלום עליכם, סלם עליכם, שלום עליכם, סלם עליכם, שלום עליכם, סלם עליכם. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבטחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבטחים גם יחד.
It is good and sweet and wonderful to be together. As you know, we are coming closer to the High Holy Days. We are now in the Hebrew month of Elul. And I hope tonight we experience a little bit of the joy and the love that is woven into this part of our calendar. There's a beautiful midrash, a beautiful interpretation of the letters of the month of Elul, that it's an acronym for the phrase Ani Ledodi V'Dodi Li. Does anybody happen to remember what that means? Ani Ledodi V'Dodi Li? You guys might know.
It's the psalm that my
Yep.
You're,
Yeah. Exactly. I'm calling on Misha and Cass, of course, because they're getting married in a few weeks. So this is, preparation. Yes, I am my beloved and my beloved mine. So Aleph, Lamed, Vav, Lamed. That's how we spell the Hebrew month of Elul. And so the rabbis love to play games with the letters, words, and find interpretations that are secrets within the words. And they said this month of Elul is a time to think of that phrase that stands for. It doesn't actually, but it could. Ani Ledodi V'Dodi Li. I am my beloved, and my beloved is my. And to think about all the ways in which we can reconnect people with God, ourselves, all of our beloved relationships and connections. So I hope tonight throughout our service and perhaps throughout all of Shabbat and the coming week, we can think about the ways we can strengthen and rebuild all of those connections with our beloveds. So we are now turning to page 4 in our Siddur, page 4 for the lighting and blessing of the Shabbat candles. For friends at home on Zoom, I just want to ask everybody to please mute yourselves if you haven't already. And do we have anyone celebrating anything? Come up and light the candles. Ronnie, do you want to come up? Great.
I guess I'm celebrating.
You are celebrating. Do you want to share what you're celebrating?
Yes, I took my last baby treatment today.
Ronnie completed her radiation treatment today, and we celebrate with you how wonderful that is.
Yeah, and I know they even gave me a graduation certificate.
no.
Yes, we did.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'imanu ehadlikne Lehaine shel Shabbat.
Yasher koach, Shabbat shalom. Mwah. Thank you. And may this be the start of a new wonderful chapter in your life, Ronnie. We'll turn now to page 9. For the Chadodi, we're going to welcome in the presence of Shabbat and feel that joy and that love.
Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekavela. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekavela, la pene Shabbat. Likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela, shamor v'zachor, v'tzibor echad, imianu el hameyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, Shemi v'reti la 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 lechadoti, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekavela, lechadoti, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekavela, likrat Shabbat lechu b'elcha. Ki mikor habracha merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshava la 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 lechadoti likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nekabela lechadoti likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, ki ba'orei kum yori, uri shir taberi, kevod Adonai alai, nigla la 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 lechadodi, likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela, lechadodi, likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela, boi v'shalom materet bahala, gam b'simcha u'b'tola, toch emunei am segula, boi chala, la la la. Likrat nekabela, lechadodi, likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela, la 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 lechadodi, likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela, lechadodi, likrat kala. P'nei Shabbat nekabela.
And we hear that word in that song, Dodi, my beloved, Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala. Let's all go, beloveds, to go and goodbye. Right here again, found in our text this sense of love and joy and connection in our service. So in order to connect a little more with the people around you, let's take a minute to greet each other and wish each other a Shabbat Shalom. And friends online can, of course, share Shabbat wish in the chat.
Best laid plans.
And turn to page 22. We're going to turn to page 27. If we're able.
La, 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 la. Ya, ya, la, 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 la. La 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 ya la 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 arechu et Adonai baruch Ana mevorach leolam
Let's read together on page English. God, you gave us the Torah to show that you love us. May always be a friend our side. The Torah is our teacher in what is wrong. It shows us how to live good lives. With us always, Torah. Be with us always as we try to live good lives. We praise you, eternal God, who gave the Jewish people the Torah. It is your special gift to us. It is the gift of your love. Now we turn to that big shin, which begins the Shema on page 34.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Shema Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Ma'uto Le'am Va'ed. Baruch Shem Chuto Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Maybe seated. We're on page 36 for the V'ahavta.
V'ahavta et Adonai Eloheinu b'nafshecha u'me'afihu hadvarim ha'el asher אנוכי אבכל עבדי בארצם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך ובשכבך ולך וקשרתם להיות על ידך היו לטוטפות בעיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תדעו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי אתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ ישראל להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם amen.
Let's read together on page 37. How do we love God? We love God to do good deeds each day. God love in every way. God with all our heart. We love God with our heart. Love other people. Help us, God, to respect everyone. Speak kind words and well. How do we love God with all our minds? We love God with all our minds when we study Torah. Help us, God, to learn your Torah. How do we love God with all strength? We love God when we share what we have. Helping others is the way of God with all strength. Help God to give tzedakah. Eternal our God, we want to show you we love you through all our deeds. May our love make the world a better place meant it to be when you created us. Page 30.
Bim bim ya ba ba bam ya ba ba bim bam ya ba ba bim bam ay ya ba bim bam ay ya ba bim bam mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai mi kamocha nedar ba'odesh Norati lo o sefer Norati lo bim bim bam bim bim bam ya ba bim bam ay ya ba bim bam ay bim bam.
Now, please join us on page 44. A story that we only on Shabbat, which remains about creation, the 6 days of creation, and then the 7th God predict of Shabbat.
Shamru b'nei Yisrael et Shabbat Sotet ha'atem beit olam V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et Sotet ha'shabbat le'olam Le'ni u'lein b'nei Yisrael Oti le'olam Oti le'olam V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha'shabbat לעשות את השבת ברית עולם כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני המים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את לדורותם ברית עולם.
On page 46, arrived at the start of a group of prayers known by a number of different names, one of which is the Amidah, which means prayer. Another name of prayers is the Tefillah, which is what we usually call it here, the prayer, which also, as some of us have studied, Tefillah comes from the word lahit palel, which means to judge one's, which is really interesting, that praying is an action of judging or turning that on yourself. Well, how have I done this past week? How have I done today? How can I do better in the days and weeks and months? So as we pray this tefillah, this ultimate moment of turning that lens on ourselves and committing ourselves to do better in the coming days and in the new year, which is starting soon, I encourage you to take some time to think about those themes as well. All who are able, please rise.
Okay, look, no one's gonna tell your dad. Teachers, they don't pay attention to gossip.
שפתי תפתח, ופי יגיד, ופי יגיד תהילתך. אדוני, שפתי תפתח, ופי יגיד, יגיד תהילתך. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואימותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, רחל ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גודל הכל, וזה אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מחכה חיים וחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומדו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיי הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה, ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We continue silently from page 56 through page 62, and you may be seated at any time.
Hey, oh, oh, hey, hey, oh, oh, hey. Lo isagoy goy chere, lo yumedu od milchama, lo isagoy goy chere, lo yumedu od milchama. Lo isagoy goy chere, lo yumedu Lo isagoy goy chere, lo yumedu od milchama. Lo isagoy goy chere, lo yumedu od milchama. Eyo, oh, eyo,
Shabbat Shalom. Thanks to the technical difficulties, I've now become a talk show host. And so I'm glad you're all here. But at least we can be heard. And actually, it reminds me of the wonderful stories that I've been told. Some of you may have also participated in this, that for many, many years, I believe it was Temple Emmanuel, broadcast their Shabbat services on the radio in New York City. And you could listen to their beautiful choir and the incredible space that they prayed in, and you could hear the magnificence of it all. And so it's interesting that our friends on Zoom tonight can't really see us. The signal, for whatever reason, of the video is delayed, and so they're listening, and we're having the ability to listen to each other, and hopefully that's just as sweet. I'm glad to be back following 2 weeks of vacation, and now to rev up and prepare for our holy season that we will share together in person for the first time in also many years. And it's just going to be wonderful, and I look forward to sharing those days with you. Part of what we do when we get together to pray, of course, is to offer support to each other, as well as to offer feelings of joy when someone has something that they're celebrating. And so let's take a moment to think about our friends and family members, the community members, as well as people around the world who are suffering tonight, who are in pain, who are hurting, who long for a return to shlemut, to wholeness, to peacefulness, whatever that means for each individual. And so tonight, I hope you will send your healing prayers to Jimmy in Brogno, Aubrey Berkhamshaw, Mark Gruenfeld, Rose Madnick, David Hayes, Valerie Kohler, Gittel Elka Bat Zelda, Dave Sullivan, Madeline Jones, Stephen Brennan, Michelle Mancinelli, Richard Horowitz, Myra Zalesnik, Celestina Adler, Suzanne Reeps, Mark and Donna Cohen, Danae Stone, Sheila Stone, Evelyn Foster, Cole Gabe, Beth Waldman, Paula Retsky, Jacob Asher, Rochelle Dauenheimer, Ronnie Burson-Weiner, Sarah Riley, and Morty Pear. Who else are you thinking of or praying for tonight, and whose name would you like to share out loud? Thank you. And Anyone online? Would anyone online like to share a name? Mishaberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov v'imotenu Sarah Rivka Leah v'Rachel hu yivarech v'yirapeh et kol hacholim ha'ela. May the one who blessed all of our ancestors, Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah, Jacob, Leah and Rachel, bless and heal all those who are ill, all who are in pain tonight, all who are suffering. We pray, God, that they will soon return to that beautiful state of wholeness for which we all pray. We pray that their doctors, their caregivers, their family members will all be blessed with continuing compassion and wisdom and love. Baruch atah Adonai Rofeh HaCholim. We praise you, God, who cares for the sick. And let us say together, Amen. We also have smachot. We have happy occasions to celebrate. And so anybody have one to share? Yeah. Mazel tov to Lilith. Wow. Starting Hampshire College. That's amazing. And how's it been going? In so many ways, it is a learning experience. Yes. Oh, well, please send her our love, and we can't wait to hear more about her college adventures. Who else has a simcha, something happy to share? Yes, Cass. Your mom is here visiting. Yay! This is so wonderful, and we are so honored that you're taking the time to be with us tonight. Thank you. Do you want to tell us anything about your visit or any other fun things you have planned? Yeah. Great. Snuggling with Daphne. Well, it's wonderful that you're with us. Thank you so much. Who else? Anyone else? Birthday, anniversary? No, we're okay. Well, great. Thank you for sharing that with us. And it's just wonderful to get to hear your moments of sweetness as well, and to celebrate them as community. I don't know if any of you caught a beautiful rainbow this past week. Did anyone else see it? Or maybe it was a little over a week ago. One of the days we were finally blessed with rain. And we are still, of course, praying for more because it's been so dry in our area. There happened to be a moment where the sun came out through the parted clouds and an incredibly vivid rainbow came through. I was able to snap a few pictures of it, and it might grace the top of the Elul emails that are going out in one of the weeks because it was pretty great. And it reminded me of this story. It's a story in the book called Does God Have a Big Toe? Written by Rabbi Mark Gelman. And this is a story about the bird feather rainbow. And when we hear rainbow, we of course think of the story of Noah and the ark. And there is a blessing we say upon seeing a rainbow, which I felt honored to say. And this will, I think the story tells you a little bit more why rainbows in our minds are additionally special. From the beginning, God knew that people would try to act like they were better than their neighbors. But honestly, God never expected to have the same problem with the animals. As soon as they were created, they started to argue about who had the most beautiful hooves, hair, fur, scales, fangs, or feathers. And the worst of the bunch by far were the birds. When the time came for Noah to round up all the animals for the ark, he almost gave up when he had to settle the birds in their nesting places. The best nesting spot was on the great wooden beam that ran across the ark. And the best place on that beam was right next to the only window on the ark. It was grabbed right away by the parrots, who would only allow the bright pink flamingos to nest next to them, who would only allow the canaries next to them, who would only allow the cardinals next to them, who would only allow the blue jays next to them, and so on, right down the beam. At the farthest, darkest end of the bird beam nested the raven and the dove. Their feathers were just plain black and just plain white, so no other birds would have anything to do with them. After 150 days and nights in the ark, everyone was going crazy. Suddenly, thud, crunch. The ark stopped rocking in the waves and came to rest. With a loud growling, hissing, mooing, croaking, squeaking, and cawing, the animals said, "Let us out of here!" But when Noah opened the window, a cold blast of wind howled in from the black sky. All the animals turned to their neighbors and said, you first. No, you first. No, please, I insist. Noah decided that a bird should go out and explore. So he asked the parrot next to the window. But the parrot just ruffled her feathers and squawked, "Don't be ridiculous. My feathers are much too beautiful to be messed up in all that awful wind. Send the flamingo." The flamingo then stood up and sneered. "It's much too cold out there for me. Send the canary." And so it went, right down the bird beam, with all the birds chirping the reasons why they could not fly out of the ark. Until, with a caw and a whoosh, the raven flew out the window and into the cold, windy night. When the raven did not return after several days, Noah asked the birds if one of them would go out and try to find the raven. But all the birds found new reasons why they could not go. All except the dove, that is, who whooshed out the window to try and find her friend, the raven, in the black and windy sky. After a long flight, the dove found the raven perched in an olive tree on a tiny island in the great flood sea. After munching on a few fresh olives, the dove said, "Hey, let's go back and tell our friends, the birds, that there is land out here." "Our friends?" laughed the raven. "Those birds don't care if we ever return. Why don't you just stay here with me, and no bird with colored feathers will ever make fun of us again?" But the dove said, "I don't think it's fair for us to sit here, munching olives, while everyone else is cooped up in the ark." And off she flew. Meanwhile, back at the ark, Noah stood at the little window staring out into the cold night for some sign of either the raven or the dove. The parrot kept pestering Noah. "Close the window. They're lost. We're cold, and you're crazy." But Noah continued to stand at the open window, looking, listening, freezing, and sneezing. The dove was lost. Her white wings were dipping closer and closer to the churning black waves, and she felt that she could not flap her tired wings another flap. Then, through the roaring wind, the dove heard, "Achoo!" Following the sound, she came to Noah's outstretched hand, and he brought her into the warm ark. When the dove reported that there was land out there, none of the birds believed her. The next morning when they woke up, the dove was gone. Her little nest at the end of the bird beam was soaked with tears. "I knew they wouldn't believe you," said the raven to the dove when she returned to the olive tree, which was now on the top of a hill on a large island in the great flood sea. "Stay with me and forget about them. Here, have an olive." "I don't want an olive, but I will take an olive leaf," said the dove. "This will show them that there really is land out here." "Won't you ever learn?" said the raven. "They're too scared to leave the ark." "And you, my friend, are too scared to leave this island and live with them," said the dove as she flew off, a white speck against the black sky. Soon the dove was lost at sea again and straining her ears for Noah's "Achoo!" or a flicker of light from the ark. But all the dove heard was wind and waves and wind and waves. Then suddenly, up ahead, the dove saw something very strange. Rising out of the sea, there was a rainbow. Flying closer, she saw that the rainbow was fluttering in the wind, and it was chirping? In fact, the beautiful rainbow was a tower of birds flapping their wings against the strong wind. The parrot was flying up and down the bird feather rainbow, squawking orders. Stay in line, you flamingos. Watch out for the hummingbirds, you blue jays. Remember, our friend Noah is sick with a cold, and our friend the dove is lost at sea, just because we refused to believe her. So, budgie birds, come on, flap those wings. And when the two great doors of the ark swung open and all the animals were let out at last, they were greeted by a wondrous sight. Now there was a real rainbow, stretching from the ark at one end to an olive tree on top of a mountain at the other. And that night, before all the birds flew off to their new homes in the new world, they nested together in the olive tree. And on the very top branch were the raven and the dove. The dove fell asleep quickly, but the raven busied himself by passing out olives to all his new friends with colored feathers. And in the morning the birds were gone, but the rainbow remained. The end. I hope next time you see a rainbow that you have an opportunity to think of the hope that it portrays in our tradition, and perhaps the peace that we all pray for. Ken Yehi Ratzon. May that be God's will. So a few announcements before we wrap up our service. It's a quiet week coming up. We are still looking one final push for Elul speakers. We still have all 3 spots remaining. And the theme this year is the new normal. What was something that happened in your life, anything that was such a transitional or transformative moment that your life took on a whole new meaning? And it can be a positive thing, it could be a difficult or negative thing, but what was a moment where you said, oh, this is now how my life is going to be? So it's up to you if you want to share your story. We're always looking for people to speak and to share. So if you would like to volunteer tonight or you want to talk to me about it, feel free at the Oneg. Otherwise, you can always call or leave a message. Next Friday night, we have our Erev Shabbat service, and we'll be switching to a different Siddur for the remainder of Elul. It's a special prayer book that has the themes of the High Holy Days in it and a lot of really beautiful readings. So we'll be using that for the next 3 weeks. On Sunday, September 11th, it's the first day of Kivun for the 2022-2023 year, which is super exciting. Then Sunday, September 18th at 12 p.m., we have a really special opportunity to hear from Stephen Davis, our member Stephen Davis, talk about a recent J Street congregational delegation that he took to Israel and to the Palestinian territories. And he went with a number of legislators as well and has a lot to tell us about the meetings he was honored to be a part of and what continues to be the reality of living in Israel and in Palestine right now. Any other announcements? We're good? All right, let's turn to our concluding prayers with Elenu on page 130. If you are able, please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגול עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Page 132. Yesh kochavim. There are stars up above. So far away we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. Page 134. You'll be invited to add names to our list if there is somebody you are mourning right now and in the period of Shiva Shloshim, the first year of mourning, or Yortzeit. We mark the Yortzeits, the anniversaries of death, for Samuel Axelrod, Claire Bernstein, Nat Craer, Rosalie Flesher, Shirley Freed, Abraham Gottfried, Isidore Gottfried, Rose Hannenbaum, Joan Hoberman, Ida Isner Benjamin, Ruth Kaufman, Mary Krupnikoff, Jack Lindenman, Barbara Margolis, Leo Maris, Donna Moran, Leo Nevis, Nancy Rader, Alan Schwam, Harry Silverman, Eshua Subitsky, Dace Stone, Mary Treppel, Daniel Weintraub, and Richard Zwillinger. Zichronam livracha. Who else is remembering somebody today and would like to share a name out loud? Thank you. And anyone online? May all of their memories always be for a precious blessing. Let's join together now in the words of Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabbah v'alma divarach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael v'agala u'vizman kariv imru amen. Yehi shemei rabbah mevarach leolam u'lamei almaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudusha brichu la'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush v'chata v'nechemata da'amiran b'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shalama rabba min shemaya v'chayim alenu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav Hu ya'aseh shalom alenu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, to all the world. And let us say together, Amen.
And please be seated. We will conclude tonight with a prayer about peace. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu on page 199. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam, salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam.
We do wish a happy 50th high school reunion to Debbie Herskowitz. She shared that during the Simcha portion, and I didn't get to share it out loud. And to all the rest of us, we wish you a wonderful Shabbat, a Shabbat filled with peace and love and joy and safety and good health. And just all the things that Shalom embodies. Shabbat Shalom. Come join us for the Oneg.